Hello, once again, me friendos, and to the new viewers alike. Today we're going to talk about something that's been stuck between the metaphorical chest hairs on my chest for the longest time now. Super Mario World. Boy, oh boy, is this game overrated. Now, viewers, put your laser pointers away and coil your rope darts and just hear me out, okay? The game is good and all, but it's certainly not Mario Teaches typing level of good. Now, you may also be thinking in your heads while also applying How to Kill Me, Super Mario World is a way better game than that lousy accident you happen to utter, not to mention any other legitimately competently made Mario game for that matter. Well, I can answer your questions right here, right now with a hypothetical I'll settle you into. Okay, so did Super Mario World teach you how to type at all? Well, did the game teach you anything at all for that matter? If you answered, it taught me how to pick and play better games, then you're absolutely wrong for making such a counterclaim. You're honestly very lucky that you didn't live in Soviet Russia, otherwise punishments would be way more cruel. But in all seriousness, I shall get into the serious reasons why this game is a literal gift from God, an underappreciated and underglorified treasure, and one that... So to start out with our introduction, what exactly is Mario Teaches typing? Well, my humble intellectuals, close your eyes and think about for a quick second. Breathe in love, man, and exhale hatred. Open your mind and transcend your traditional way of thinking and loosen your hardened senses and biases. You see, if we put the three words together, we clearly get the idea that the video game character Mario is going to teach us how to type. Whether it be a computer keyboard or a traditional text message, our favorite Italian plumber is going to get us through this sobering of not being able to press your fingers on a letter. So this game was developed and partially published by Interplay Productions and Brainstorm Trademark and released on PC in 1992. Later re-released in 1995, updated featuring now famous Mario voice actor Charles Martinet. This game was so successful, in fact, that it also spawned a souped-up sequel. Yes, this game was so influential, successful, and loved that it got its very own entire sequel. In other words, if you want to type trash about this game, you're gonna have to learn how to type, right? Of course, that is what you catacresic plebeians came here for anyways, to learn how to type, and luckily, that's what this game strives at best. Now, before I can even begin to speak about the super helpful teaching program the game employs, we've got some talking to do about the subjects and themes of the game. Being a video game, after all, and one of the major pieces of my thesis, there has to be some sort of story, right? Well, apart from the game being an excellent learning tool, it doubles as a successfully enlightened narrative, too. This is something that many games nowadays seem to fail at. After choosing the characters and naming yourself, what exactly is the story for the game? Well, Mario and Luigi stumble across a magical typewriter where he struggles to learn and master the abilities to type. Remember kids, intellectual game designers don't do drugs. Now the typewriter sadly explodes in this scene, which is the story setter here. Before we continue, let's analyze the scene here. Now you could argue that the real antagonist here is but not Bowser in the castle. After all, he technically does nothing wrong throughout this iteration of a Mario game, he's just there. But really the typewriter annoying Mario by exploding. Out of kindness and nearly having his fingers blown off, Mario seeks and attempts to search out the pieces of the typewriter. So, as all great story arc theorists talk about, the antagonist is the one who makes the action, while the protagonist is the one that reacts with the reaction. Convincing, right? Anyways, basically the story is a quest of Mario and Luigi getting revenge and redemption over a pesky magic typewriter, learning how to type, the connection of our audience is brilliant here in the story arc detail, and heavily vandalize Bowser's property and become an arsonist. Okay, bro. How does one compensate for such a great story into a gameplay standard, let alone doing it without stating the obvious? To start, the menu screen here is where we're introduced to Mario. Typically good game design would have relatively well organized and aesthetically pleasing layouts, right? Actually, there's a ton to talk about here. This game's a very good example of how to do both correctly. Yes, both. There's an option to adjust sound effects and music, profile changes, difficulty shifts that are displayed to be adjustable, and much more. Perhaps one of the coolest and grooviest things here is in the later versions of the game, there lays a rap song called Practice Makes Perfect that's located in the main menu. They went through all the hard work to get people to produce and perform like the RZA, Mike Patton, Skrillex, and even Michael Jackson, crazily enough. Unfortunately, none of these acts decided to show up at all. However, they did manage to get an up-and-coming group called Legacy X to do the soundtrack. Take a listen.
Yo, this tune is actually pretty good.
Strangely enough, they never went on to become too successful afterwards. Sad. So sad. Once you load into the game, we're getting to the nitty-gritty of the game's objectives and laundry list of things to do. Man, you thought Project M had productivity laced in it? Well, actually, you're kinda right. But Mario Teaches Typing neglected its child known as Project M due to being disappointed in the lack of creativity Project offered comparatively. Based on the difficulty chosen, you're traversing through various levels, including traditional old-school 2D Mario-styled levels, followed up by an underwater level, and finally a castle level. All offer different ways and difficulties in learning how to type. The way to play here is to type the correct letters in quick succession to the scene going on screen. You type something like W for a hypothetical example to stomp on Koopas. You press something like N to jump and hit the block with the demanded letter, and something like F once you realize this game didn't get enough appraisal. I spent hours within all three game modes, along with many other enriching features, such as the practice game mode and starring the report card searching for the way to erase my bad grades. There are so many memorable characters and fun interactions with the game and player interactions and so many other features, and it makes the game super memorable. Blah, blah. However, the key feature of the game has yet to be explained. The most notorious element of the game's memorability and amazement explained now. Now, of course, I had to save the best part about the game for last. You read the title of the next segment, that being the infamous floating Mario head. The feature actually wasn't originally implemented in the game, but only added later in the updated 1995 version of the game. Early releases of the game had a pixelated stock image of Mario interacting with you on the menu screen, such as the one right here, but newer versions of the game had something even better to provide the player. This time, it's a state-of-the-art CGI floating Mario head, voiced by the new legendary gaming voice actor Charles Martinet. Now, why did this come to be, and why is the Soul update such an important and significant change for the game? You see, back then when the use of CGI was in its infant stages in popular media and culture, being used in films as early as 1982 such as Tron, and looking mighty gorgeous in Terminator 2 Judgment Day. The studio behind Mario Teaches Typing's animation back then happened to also be talented artists who were unfortunately fired from Pixar for unknown reasons. But eventually, what Pixar then creative officer John Lasseter himself stated in the future was a major mistake upon seeing the beautiful CG animation Mario Teaches Typing version 2 provided. This being further proof that the game has not only innovation and creativity behind it, but also proof that this game is a boundary-pushing art piece. In fact, the CG of the floating Mario head was so groundbreaking and pretty that people were legitimately scared of the presence on the screen. The head was seriously so good looking that it gave 600 people across the world heart attacks. Not to mention it was so popular at the same time that the sequel to Mario Teaches Typing, yes, again, there is a well-deserving sequel to this completely modernist prodigist video game, that they even gave more cutscenes and screen time to the floating Mario head. Now, to talk about the head itself, there's a lot to take in here. First off, being that the voice work for this is actually amazing. Charles Martinet, I swear, was born for the role here, speaking just as if he were fluent in Italian.
Look, I'm a video game. Boom, 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 boom. I'ma bet you can't do this.
Now, the reason for this floating head creating so much static and attention is not just because of how memed the head is itself, though the fact that people are still memeing it to this day is a testament to how well written and animated the character is, but because how good of a role model the interpretation of Mario is in this game. Positive, encouraging, fun-looking, and great influence on the kids playing the game. He's a companion throughout your journey of the game, he's a person you'd want to have lunch with, and best of all, it's said to help the kids sleep at night. With all the given appraisal that this game has been given, by me in this video and many others across the globe, I provide enough evidence to this pillar of greatness. Need I say more? Wait a minute, was that sentence grammatically correct? Well, some even say it was the best Mario game ever made. Well, what do I have to say about that statement? Do I agree or disagree? Well, to be honest, I don't agree. You see, Hotel Mario, for example, is by far a more memorable game and a more fun one at that, while Mario Teaches Typing is a genuinely good game in many respectable regards too. Said and researched by various Yale University students within the Delta frat house, this game is, well at its core, still a learning game. And in this society of gamers, we hate learning and educational games. Plus, we want nothing but temporary mind-numbing fun after our grueling days at high school. Not only that, but the many of the gameplay elements are nowhere near as interesting or bright as in Hotel Mario, and most importantly, the cutscenes of Mario's floating head voiced by Charles Martinet show zero zero competition in comparison to the Quentin Tarantino directed cutscenes in Hotel Mario. To end the video off though, in comparison to other Mario games, this one, while great, certainly better than any Mario Party game on N64, isn't the best thing to ever grace the earth. Still a gift from God, but nothing more and nothing less, even though I don't believe in God. Hopefully you guys like this edition of me posting a new video of my busy slumber every millennia, and hope become more consistent as a human. In that regard, me friendos, have a good day, bye. Also, to break the character for a split second, hope nobody takes this joke video seriously. Ciao.